Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get straight to the insights you really need. And today, we're jumping right into a topic that, well, it touches almost everyone eventually. How to really understand, and I mean effectively assess, a life insurance agent. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Think about maybe you're trying to find that perfect agent for your family's future, or maybe you're on the other side, a hiring manager looking for, a top-tier professional. How do you actually sort through it all, find the best? So our mission today is basically to give you that blueprint. We're drawing out key insights from a resource usually aimed at hiring managers, but honestly, it's just as valuable for anyone navigating life insurance.
That's exactly right. Our main source for this deep dive, it's specific parts of Life Insurance Agent Interview Questions with Scorecard by Ava HR. And it's more than just like a list of questions. It gives us this really solid framework, a structured way to see what actually makes a good professional in this field tick.
Which is why this is so potentially powerful for you listening right now. Doesn't matter if you're hiring, thinking of buying a policy, or maybe you're just curious about how this industry works behind the curtain. This session, it's designed to give you that targeted, usable knowledge. It's about making your decisions better informed. So yeah, let's dive in. All right, so let's strip away the jargon first. Fundamentally, what is a life insurance agent? And maybe more importantly, what does our source material tell us about what defines a great agent beyond just, selling policies?
Yeah, good distinction. So at the core, an agent is someone who sells life insurance policies. They guide clients, help them navigate what often feels like a really complicated process to find the right coverage. The Ava HR resource highlights the basics you'd expect. Usually a high school diploma, definitely licensure in the states they operate in that's critical. It ensures they meet state standards, for protecting consumers. And importantly, previous sales experience often comes up. But it's not just about hitting targets. It's meant to show they can understand and respond to what clients actually need.
Okay, yeah. And here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. Beyond that basic definition, what else are they doing? Because it feels like it has to be more than just a transaction, right? How do they actually serve their clients? And how does the compensation part work? Because that's always a question.
Right. A top agent often acts more like a financial guide, maybe. They'll often work with several different insurance companies, not just be tied to one. That way they can genuinely shop around and find the best options for their specific client.
Okay, that makes sense. Wider options.
Exactly. And about compensation, yes, the primary way is commission from the insurance company when a policy sells. But here's a key insight. A really effective agent, they have to balance that incentive with the client's actual best interest. Maybe they present options that pay them less commission because it's genuinely a better fit.
That's a subtle but really important difference to look for.
It is. Some agents might also be on a salary or offer broader services, maybe financial planning too. But ultimately, their role is about educating, answering those tough questions, and helping you pick something that truly suits your unique situation.
Hey, you mentioned suitability guidance. The source emphasizes certain skills. What are those core skills, and how do they really make an agent stand out from the crowd?
Well, the core skills, as the AVHR guide points out, are definitely things like excellent customer service and really effective communication. But the insight here, I think, is that it's not just about being pleasant. It's more about active listening, trying to uncover maybe unspoken concerns or future goals, and then, crucially, being able to take these complex insurance products and explain them in simple, easy-to-understand terms. A top agent doesn't just sell, they clarify. They empower you with understanding.
Okay, so once we kind of get the basics of what an agent is, the big challenge for you, our listener, becomes, right, how I spot the good one. And this is where that AVHR resource really starts to pay off, giving us a sort of blueprint for vetting them beforehand, whether you're hiring or just looking for someone to trust.
That's right. The key things to ask about, even before a really deep conversation, are, their experience level, what specific types of products they're actually licensed to sell that's important, and just their general grasp of the industry. These aren't just items on a checklist. They form the foundation for any kind of professional relationship in this space.
And it's not just what they say in that first chat, right? The guide mentions checking references, looking into their background. Why is that particularly relevant here?
Well, it really boils down to trust, doesn't it? Due diligence is just crucial. The end goal, whether you're a company bringing someone on board or an individual choosing an advisor, is making sure you feel genuinely comfortable and that they have the verifiable experience and qualifications to actually meet your specific needs. It's about building that relationship on solid ground. competence and confidence.
Okay, so we've got these fantastic questions from the AVHR source,
Yeah.
but how do we actually use them?
Right.
How do we apply them to really dig deep, get past maybe rehearsed answers, and understand an agent's true capabilities? What are these questions really showing us?
That's the key. We can actually group these questions by theme to see the kind of insight each type gives us. So first, if you're trying to understand their experience and motivation, you'd ask things like, what experience do you have in the life insurance industry? Pretty straightforward. But also, what inspired you when you started working in the life insurance industry? Now, these questions, they don't just map out their resume, they start to uncover their passion, maybe their deeper why for doing this work. And that's pretty crucial if you're looking for a long-term, trustworthy relationship. You kind of want someone who sees it as more than just a paycheck.
Right, you want commitment, not just a job. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next up, we'd look at assessing client interaction and guidance. Here, the questions get more specific to the process, like, how have you helped clients through the process of choosing and buying life insurance policies? Or, what do you think are the most important factors when looking for life insurance coverage? And maybe, how can someone be sure they get the best possible life insurance coverage for their needs?
Okay, so this batch is really testing their approach with clients.
Exactly. It highlights how client-focused they are. Do they just list off products? Or do they actually help you navigate the complexity? Simplify the choices in a way that genuinely serves you. That's what you're listening for.
Got it. And the last group.
The final group, which I personally find really fascinating, focuses on their educational prowess and practical advice. This is where an agent can truly empower the client. So questions like, what are the biggest mistakes people make when buying life insurance policies? That's a great one.
Oh yeah, I like that. What else?
Also, what should someone do if they're unsure whether they even need life insurance coverage? Or what are some common misconceptions about life insurance that you've run into?
Hmm.
And what are the most important things to remember when shopping for life insurance coverage? And maybe wrap up with, what advice would you give to someone about to purchase their very first life insurance policy?
Wow. Okay, so those are really about their ability to teach and guide.
Precisely. What's fascinating here is how these questions probe their ability to educate, to demystify the whole thing and offer genuinely practical, actionable advice. That kind of insight is invaluable for any client trying to make sense of it all and, frankly, avoid common mistakes. A great agent is often a great teacher.
That's a really powerful way to frame the conversation. But okay, beyond the actual dialogue, the AVHR source talks about using a candidate scorecard, a more structured evaluation tool. This seems to move beyond just the gut feeling from an interview toward something a bit more objective.
Exactly. The scorecard offers specific categories for a more objective look, helping you build a more complete picture of the candidate or the agent you're considering. So for instance, you'd have educational background. Does it fit? Do they have the right qualifications or training? That's foundational knowledge. Then prior work experience. What relevant skills did they pick up from past jobs? Can they apply them?
Okay, standard enough so far.
Right. Then, qualifications experience drills down into the specific technical skills needed for this role. Problem-solving abilities looks for evidence they can think critically, handle tricky situations. Communication, obviously vital, assesses how clearly they interact, build rapport, build trust. Then there's organizational fit. Now, for a company, this is about fitting the culture. For you as a client, you could think of this more like, do they have a philosophical fit with your personal values, your long-term financial outlook?
Ah, interesting adaptation for a client perspective.
Yeah. And finally, directional fit. This considers if the role is a step forward for them in their career. It can indicate their ambition, maybe their long-term commitment. So if we connect this back to the bigger picture, using a scorecard like this gives you that holistic view. It pushes you beyond just the answers in the moment towards a much more objective, well-rounded assessment. Helps reduce that inherent bias we all have.
Wow, what an illuminating deep dive that was. We've really journeyed through the core role of a life insurance agent, touched on why preparing beforehand is so critical, uncovered the sheer power of asking these really targeted questions that get beneath the surface, and then seen the value of a structured evaluation, like that scorecard idea.
And I think the key takeaway here really is that having this knowledge, understanding not just what these professionals do, but how they operate, and crucially, how they can be effectively assessed, that knowledge empowers you. Big time. Whether you're the one doing the hiring Or maybe more commonly for our listeners, you're on the client side just looking for the right guidance. This understanding shifts you. You go from being passive to being a really informed decision maker, which actually raises an important question.
Exactly. So armed now with this deeper understanding of what truly makes an effective life insurance agent, what new questions might you bring to the table the next time you encounter one? Or even just when you're sitting down to think about your own financial future. Something to think about.